All right, Chad, we're here talking about the resurrection for Easter. What are some of the first things that come to your mind when you think about the resurrection?
One of the first things that comes to mind is how the resurrection really does validate all the promises that we see in Scripture about God coming to the rescue of His people. All the way from Genesis, sin enters the picture, God promises, I'm going to rescue, I'm going to redeem, and then kind of reveals a little by little about what that rescue is going to look like. Until we get to a point where we see this kind of dual nature of the Messiah who would come as both a suffering servant and a reigning king. And so in Jesus, his crucifixion, we see the suffering servant. In his resurrection, we see that suffering servant is the risen and reigning king.
That's right.
And so it just puts those pieces of the puzzle together for us that we see laid out for us in Scripture in a really neat and beautiful way. So how about you?
Well, I think going off that point, I mean, you think through the Old Testament really was gearing up to obviously the coming of Jesus Christ, but also his crucifixion, his resurrection. I think in particular, you look at the kings and the judges in the Old Testament, and there were always two problems with those kings and judges. One, they were either bad, they were wicked, or they were good, but they kept dying. It's a problem, And so you read through Kings, you read through Judges, and you get this sense, wouldn't it be great if there was an eternal king who was good? But that's the point.
Right.
There is one coming. There is a king who is coming, who is a good king. He's a good ruler, and he's going to live forever.
Right. Yeah, it does. Helps us make sense of Scripture.
Right.
It's really neat.